How we doing, folks? This is Mike. I am joined by Mike. Why not us, Mike? Why not us? Not only are both of our teams 1-0, but we had a winning weekend at the Sportsbook. Nice little round of applause for the gang. We're back. And let's give another why not us to why not the Sportsbooks, because they have us right where they want us. You got a Sportsbook. We're in the full season. We got tastes of wins, and we're ready to be let down.
Oh, it was so awesome. It was
what?
truly a perfect weekend. The only way I can compare how my weekend went, we'll get into the details, but was to the Dallas Cowboys. We'll get into the details of the football game later, but my sports betting was just off the charts. I didn't win every single bet, but I hit all the big bets.
Yeah.
The only thing was I was like one leg off on every parlay, but somewhere between another $1,000 to $2,000 worth of parlays that I was right there for. Kind of like the Cowboys having to settle for field goals in the second half where they could have put the Browns away.
All right. We're going to get to it, okay? I don't want to hear you juice it up the pod with all Cowboys because the world doesn't revolve around you. There was plenty other winners from week one, plenty of losers. And yeah, you guys probably don't want to hear about our bets either, but it's not the most common occurrence in the world, especially a weekend win as a whole from both of us, especially when we went against each other on a lot of bets. But we did good. We're in a good spot. The teams look good. It was a great weekend. There were some good games. I have no complaints. Thought Scott Hansen did good. There was, I got my commentating takes. Like, can we just get into it?
Yeah, let's get into it. I will say one other thing.
Please.
Slight disappointment on the weekend. Some room to improve. I just don't think we're going to see it. Little let down with the Carrie Underwood video.
Really? She started off at like a slower pace, it felt like, and they changed it up a little bit.
They were just trying to do too much. She's perfect. They didn't need to change anything. It was obviously still phenomenal, and she is just so talented. Always puts out a good song every year.
Yeah.
I mean, she's someone you want on your team.
It came out of nowhere.
Not her best.
No, I don't even know if it was Carrie. It was just the fact that, like, it was out of nowhere. Like, I was already Carrie Underwood. Like, I had just sat down on my couch at 11 a.m., and it wasn't my best Sunday performance as far as being a bum. I was aggressively hungover, so I didn't get to, like, watch the sports, shows beforehand and really dial into my bets, which maybe was a good thing because I did better. But Carrie, I mean, the 7 hours went by like that, and then I was like, wait, Carrie Underwood's on? Why am I not as excited as I used to be? But Mike, there was plenty to get excited about. This is our one State of the East address, and we're going to start every week with the winner of the division or the team with the best record, and that comes from the guys over at NFL Nation, RJ Ochoa and Brandon Lee Gowden. They were big NFC East guys. We're carrying on a lot of their legacy. I don't know if they're doing the pod anymore.
Nice.
But Cowboys did win the division last year. We will start with that game. They played on Sunday. The Cowboys 33, the Browns 17. Mike, we're going to start with you, and the debate we're going to set up for this week's segment is who had the most impressive win, the Cowboys or the Eagles. They both won. They both answered some questions. Maybe some still remain. We start with you. Why was the Cowboys win against the Browns more impressive, Mike?
Thank you, Judge Mike. Happy to be in court for this session.
Judge Mike, also speaking on behalf of the Philadelphia Eagles, also speaking on behalf of how bad the Giants are, which we'll get to.
Thank you for your title. I'm really happy. The Dallas Cowboys had a great week. I mean, you talk about starting off a Sunday with signing your franchise quarterback to a new deal. He's feeling good. You go into Cleveland. It's a homecoming for Ezekiel Elliott. It's a dominant performance, just like I predicted. Not that they blew them away. The Browns sort of lingered a little there in the second half. There was never really a worry that they were going to lose. CD didn't go for 100. He didn't get his touchdown. but he was open when they needed him. Ezekiel Elliott got into the end zone. Brandon Aubrey is fucking insane.
Yeah,
the only thing better would have been them letting him kick that 71-yard field goal.
I know.
That he
what the hell?
Absolutely would have nailed. So lame.
Who knows? That would have been probably not. No.
The Cowboys defense looked better than the Browns defense. Micah Parsons looked dangerous. There was really no flaw in the Cowboys game besides not being able to finish a few of those red zone drives in the second half. But that's some week one stuff you can build upon. I mean, just all across the board, offense, defense, special teams, the Cowboys played a flawless game, and there's not much more they could have done to prove how dominant they are. Now, to answer your question, I'm not even going to touch on the Eagles. I'll rebuttal your delirious comments that you're going to give me in a few minutes.
I haven't said a word.
Nothing matters about the Eagles game. First of all, the Cowboys played a significantly better game. But I think the fact that the Cowboys played the way that they did, nothing about that Eagles game mattered. The Eagles had a gritty win that they sort of pulled out.
You're speaking to the Eagles. You're speaking on the Eagles.
I couldn't stop myself.
We're in your head, dude. We're in your head. Let me ask you one question, okay? And I knew you were going to do this. Okay, let me ask you the question. Why did the Cowboys win this game?
Why did the Cowboys win
Why did the Cowboys win this game? What was the biggest reason the Cowboys won this game, Mike?
The 53 players that they put on the field were all better than the 53 players on the other side.
You didn't mention the two words, which was the biggest reason the Cowboys won this game. You didn't even mention it. It's Deshaun Watson. He was bad. He was terrible. And let me read you the stats, because Dak was 19 for 32, $176, one touchdown. Good stat line. And let me give credit, because Dak looked good. CD looked good. Micah looked good. The Cowboys looked good. And, there was a part of me that was like, they could come out and just be like an 8-9 team. And they could be, like you said at the beginning of the season, like they take the turn and go the opposite direction. It's not that. They were what they were last year and probably the past 3 years. Very sturdy regular season team. As I texted you over the weekend, still fully expect them to drop the ball in 4 games, Dak to have 4 very questionable games, and one of them being the playoffs. But, Mike, Deshaun Watson, 24 for 45, $169, similar to Dak, but one touchdown, 2 interceptions. I mean, a 51 QB rating. He was abysmal. And like you said, the Browns kind of came back at the end, but the differentiator in this game was Deshaun Watson. The Cowboys looked good, but I didn't learn anything about the Cowboys. The one thing I learned is Deshaun Watson's not the answer. It's over in Cleveland, and that was embarrassing.
I agree. Deshaun Watson was bad. I think he's not the answer in Cleveland. I think his career is over. I don't know what happened to him when he took that time off, but he is not the same. But I think the Cowboys exposed him. I think they were flying around the field. They looked quick. They looked fast. They didn't give him any time to throw the ball. He had no easy options. I think they created both turnovers. They stopped him on 4th down when Demarion Overshown came flying down and drilled him. He looks incredible. I could go on forever. I guess I'll give you a question here. What did the Eagles do that was more impressive than the Cowboys?
Mike, the Eagles played also a very good team in the Green Bay Packers, one that was better in the playoffs last year, had the better quarterback, better coach, better expectations this year. That seems to get lost in this, right? And this might be the first game we see Jordan Love for a lot of the season, right? They had to play a full-strength Packers team, and they didn't play their best ball. They came out, and it was a slugfest. They probably had, a quarter and a half where they just were not playing good football. And they still put up an easy 34. And they are just clearly a really, really, really hard team to beat. And I know what you want to talk about this game, and we'll talk about it, but we have to touch on this first because I didn't expect this. You had a bad take last week, which was Saquon is average, something around those lines. Holy shit. I did not expect that. That was awesome. I posted one Instagram story during the game, and it was me laughing because it just now hit me that guy was on our team. That was cool to see. And that opens up a lot, and you have to.
Saquon was cool.
Saquon was cool.
Saquon looked good.
Yes,
Did he look any better than DeAndre Swift looked last year?
Yes, absolutely. And I was the only thing I was looking at. There was those, even the 12-yard runs he had, it just looked different. He's different, and I think he's going to be the best running back in the league. I bet on him to have the most rushing yards. That looks even better now with Christian McCaffrey and Brees and Bijan all having tough weekends. So I know what you want to talk about, Mike, and let me just hit it, okay? And, you know, the Eagles win was more impressive, and it was mostly because of the reason I just said. They didn't play their best football. The Cowboys did. And, you know, moments here and there. But the Eagles, like, you know, how did they win that game? Right? 34 could have been like 42. Jalen made a lot of questionable decisions. A lot of questionable decisions. I was questioning a lot. But let me say this about Jalen. He put up 278, was 20 for 34 still, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. You know, he had the bad turnover, right? No, not the bad turnover, the center, Cam Jurgens. We'll get there. But he still fed his guys. Like Devontae and AJ had 200 combined, 12 receptions, a tutty. Saquon got his. He got a reception. Goddard got his, right? The offense was flowing, and Jalen didn't have his best stuff, right? So, you know, the defense looked better. Absolutely. They had some great drives against Jordan Love. They could have put that game to bed with the pick six. Like, there's just a lot to be excited about this team. The only thing that just worries me about Jalen as a whole is, like, man, he hasn't played like his consistent football since really 2022. It's just these games where it's like it's not fully there. Like, he has a good 3 quarters or 2.5, but then there's a quarter and a half where, man, what's going on?
This is what I've been telling you, man.
All right, so I want to concede something to you, and I want Jalen Hurts to just prove me wrong a little bit in this regard. And this might piss some Eagles fans off, but I need you to shut the hell up a little bit. So I just want to concede a little bit something to you, okay? I think if Dak Prescott was on the Eagles right now, we'd probably be a better offense.
Wow.
Just game by game. And I wouldn't do it because of the massive question mark, which is Dak in the playoffs. Just massive. I've seen Jalen win those games. I haven't seen Dak win those games. So that takes everything for me. But I'm talking game by game, like the game we just saw this week with the questions I have for a good 20 minutes in a game about Jalen and what decision he's going to make next versus seeing Dak and like really just always seems like he's in a rhythm except for those 4 games a year. I can't help but think and look at the stat line with Devontae and AJ getting fed still with a mediocre game from Jalen, looking at a guy like Dak that, you know, I know what Dak's good at. He's always been good at those things. We argue about the things that he's clearly not good at, but he'd be able to feed those guys as well. And yeah, listen, the reason we almost lost that game was because of Jalen Hurts. So I'm here to admit it, and I hope you'll take that. When was the last time you heard me come close to saying anything like that? I've never done that, but I have to be a little bit transparent because Jalen has to show me more. And Dak Prescott is Dak Prescott, and I'm ready to admit that, but it doesn't mean the Cowboys are better than the Eagles. It doesn't mean anything's going to be different this year, Mike. You're smiling.
I haven't took a smile off my face in the last however long you've been talking. I don't know. Maybe I should be a lawyer. I just got you to admit that.
No, I came into the
3
episode
minutes of debating.
No, I came into the episode thinking it because, like, you know, why didn't the Eagles win this game by 2021? Dude, that team is loaded. We're loaded. The offensive line still looked great. I mean, Saquon, the defense was flying around. Quinyon Mitchell, I am so excited about this dude. He played.
Did he have a good game?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He had 2 pass deflections. He had great go-around deflections. Like, he was
at least 2 penalties
flying over the place. He had a lot of promising stuff. He had maybe 2 rookie plays. Trust me, it was promising. There was some really good potential there. It's good to have something big. So I'm excited about the
like
D.
You guys are like kind of cool on paper, and we haven't seen the paper team actually perform on the field in like 10 months now.
What do you mean? They just beat the Packers. The past 2 games the Eagles and Cowboys have played.
They didn't play well.
The Packers. We beat the Packers. I seem to remember the Cowboys' last game they played before this week was against the Packers, and they got
All right, new season. You can't pull that.
Right.
It's a new season.
Same team, same quarterback, same defense, Mike. I don't want to hear that. I mean, that's an impressive team that we beat on a bad day, and that's what good football teams do. That's what the Lions did against the Rams when the wheels started falling off, right? It's the same formula. We're just going to be an impossible team to beat. You got to be on your best day. That includes Dak. That includes the Cowboys. That includes any team. We are the favorite out of the NFC in my eyes. We have the best team. We'll get to the Niners.
I don't understand how you can just expect this team that keeps playing like shit to just figure it out because they have good players on the field.
You have to open your eyes a little bit. The team wins games. They beat a good team.
But it doesn't make sense because of this great team on paper. Why can't they actually play good football?
Okay, you got to stop phrasing it like we didn't just beat a good football team and had good football moments. We just had a quarter or two where it looked sus. I haven't even mentioned how Dak Prescott threw 2 dropped interceptions to Denzel Ward, okay? Everyone has their moments. Everyone has their drives, Michael, but we won a football game. And yes, that's why I called out Jalen. That's why I said we haven't had a consistent game until 2022. Because this was what it did look like at the beginning of last year. We squeezed out these wins, and it wasn't complete football games. And now just the thing this team has to prove is that Jalen's going to be more consistent and not make these sus plays. And he still had some great throws. He still fed Devontae at the end. I mean, that 8-minute drive to close out the game was impressive stuff, Michael. It was really impressive. And Jalen did that, and you have to give him his credit, okay?
I'm not hearing anything that's more impressive than the Cowboys win.
Michael, you won that game because of Deshaun Watson. The Cowboys'
win was more impressive.
We didn't learn anything about the Cowboys. We learned a lot more about the Eagles. We learned that the defense was better. We learned that Saquon Barkley was a fucking beast. The only question mark we have is Jalen Hurts' consistency. And Mike, how could you not think that's going to get better, right? The only reason I gave you the Dak thing for now is to shove it right back in your face week 5 when this turns for the better. Because you're way too high on the Cowboys right now, dude. I'm feeding you, but just relax a little bit. They beat Deshaun Watson. Just chill a little bit.
Put up like 37 points on
33, less than the Eagles.
Supposedly the best defense in the league, and they made it look easy.
With a lot of short fields, a lot of turnovers, and failed 4th down conversions from Deshaun.
That's what the Cowboys do.
They had the same yardage. The Browns and Cowboys offense had the same amount of yards. It was short fields. It was bad quarterback play that one year.
We've had the most turnovers in the league the last 2, if not 3 years. That's what we do. That's our formula for success. And I
tried to be nice. I tried to be nice. The Cowboys looked good. Okay, they did not look bad. The Eagles looked like they have the higher ceiling, which we all knew. You know that. Everyone knew the Eagles had the higher ceiling than the Cowboys. They have 3 stud players. Their offensive line I still have questions about. I'll give them credit. They did look good. I did not expect Tyler Guyton to hold up that well. So
Tyler Guyton and Connor Beebe both playing positions they didn't play in college.
I didn't realize he had never played center before. That's pretty crazy. And I'll give
both looked good.
Yeah, I'll give all right, can we talk about like Jerry Jones? Like,
it just sounds like you're conceding because you admit that my team looks way better than yours.
Mike, I tried giving you something to like have some like closure for this segment, and then you just were like, "Oh, you're not giving anything to the Eagles," and that's going to come back and bite you because
I didn't see anything cool out of the Eagles.
Mike, you have goggles on. You never do. You all do. Everyone does. Nobody talked about it. This entire weekend, this entire day, they talked about Jordan Love getting hurt at the end. Like, it's going to come back and bite someone, especially you. And I need to see it happen because that team deserves a lot more credit than it's getting. We'll get to it. They got stuff to clean up, plain and simple. So don't think you won, okay? I came into the segment saying I'll give him that because, listen, I couldn't help but see Devontae and AJ still have a game, but Jalen play bad. I want those guys to get fed. They're the best duo in the league. All right. You want to move on?
Yeah, I'm ready to move on. Quick shout out to Ezekiel Elliott for scoring a touchdown for the Cowboys again.
Little burst. I'm still a little sus on him.
He looked small. He looked lean. He looked quick.
Yeah, he can't get hurt. He cannot get hurt. Speaking of hurt, and we'll touch on this game, but like Derrick Henry in a Ravens jersey is just an injury waiting to happen. Like that's gonna happen any week. It just didn't look right. Um, yeah.
It could
Well,
be
okay.
so cool, but
We need to get on the same team for a sec. Because going off Saquon, two big losers, two big winners of the week. Let's give them both. One of my losers is John Mara of the Giants. I don't know if anyone watched the Hard Knocks off season, but he had one moment where he told Joe Shane, the GM, if Saquon goes to the Philadelphia Eagles, I'm going to have a hard time sleeping at night, which pretty much told him, like, dude, if you let that happen, you and me might have some problems. They're going to have some problems. Saquon already has 3 more touchdowns than the Giants' whole offense, and it was disastrous for the Giants on Sunday, and just absolutely nothing to look forward to as a franchise. Wow, that is one sad NFL franchise. The Panthers have their own story, but I texted you over the weekend. That's my most depressing NFL franchise, and it's maybe not close. Panthers and Giants, everyone else.
it's really bad. It's like hard to even continue shitting on them because you knew this was going to happen. This was my lock of the week on the Vikings. One of my biggest winners of the week is Sam Darnold. I was all over it. But the Giants looked worse than we all thought. I mean, they made Sam Darnold look like an incredible quarterback. Daniel Jones has no idea what he's doing.
Yeah, bad press by Kay Adams to come out this week as the week you tell the world you're dating Daniel Jones. Not a good week. Not a good hard launch.
They were booing 3 plays into the game at home.
They were booing. Like they were waiting for Daniel Jones when he walked out of the stadium to boo. And
I don't blame them.
I don't blame him a sec. And then I forget who it was. Oh, I was Dexter Lawrence after the game. He was like, I don't respect that. Dude, it's
better.
the New York Football Giants. You're in the NFC East. You're in the biggest sports market there is. And you're telling your fans you don't respect if they boo? You can't do that, dude. That's all they got. You have to give your fans the booing. Holy shit. Not good.
Yeah. Poor Malik Neighbors. Feel bad for that guy.
No wonder they gave him the jersey number. They're like, give him anything he wants. Let's just get through this year. Holy crap. Dude, they can't even get like a screen right. Like everything looks hard. It's impressive how bad it is. It's like there's just no hope. Are they going to win a football game?
It's only getting harder. That was probably the easiest game on their schedule.
Holy, like there's no, I don't have words. I don't even have like game analysis to like break down. It was just bad. And I mean, was like Jake Siegel, our Giants friends, were they like excited for this season? Were they like Giants football, woohoo? Like were they?
I think he was more really nervous. My favorite text on Sunday was after Daniel Jones threw that pick 6 to the defensive end. And Jake Siegel just goes, wow, just got a delivery notification that my Daniel Jones jersey is here. Like, what is he doing?
No, when did he buy it?
Like a few weeks ago, I guess. So maybe he was excited?
You got it for like $10 on TikTok Shop. Did he buy the fucking horrendous throwbacks they wore?
I really hope he didn't buy the super ugly jersey.
Oh, just bad vibes for the New York Football Giants, man. I mean,
I doubled down on the Vikings when I saw the Giants jerseys. That's how bad it was.
Great lock of the week. We both slammed our lock of the weeks. Mine was the over in the Bucs and Commanders game, which, by the way, I'm taking every Commanders over this season because their defense is bad, and Jaden Daniels is going to score points. Let's move to that game. Giants, wow. We'll keep a sad meter alert. I hope Jake still takes his word and says he's going to come on the pod at some point just so we can. No, that would be mean. We need a Giants fan that's more loud because there are a ton out there.
Jake Siegel doesn't deserve it.
No, he doesn't. He's sweet. He's not like trying to, man. Oh, they're just like delusional sad. You're delusional annoying, you know? Like probably me too. But Commanders game, and two big things I want to get to here, Mike. I love the order we go in with our games. We haven't touched on the Chiefs or Rams game yet. Commanders, Bucs. Actually, a really fascinating game. I had a lot of fun watching it because the Cowboys and Browns game was a little bit bust. And by the way, can I just ask, what did you think of Tom Brady?
Mid.
That's what most people are saying, and I agree. It could have been better. He didn't come out and say a lot, but I will say I would rather that than him like come out and do like way too much and that be the story of Tom Brady, right? Like,
yeah,
build from the bottom down. I'm the jury's still out. I'm not like totally out on him as a commentator, right? And
you want him to be a little less like someone like Pat McAfee.
Well, what do you mean? Because he was kind of the opposite of Pat. He was pretty quiet, and
that's what I'm saying. Pat McAfee does too much. You respect the fact that Tom Brady didn't try and be like Pat McAfee.
Meet in the middle, be like the Troy Aikman, whatever. It's we'll see. And there's still like something to be said about like if he's sitting next to the right color guy, because like I don't even know if I know his name off the top of my head. Like you probably should have more of an A-lister next to Tom Brady at the booth, but just my opinion. We'll see.
Yeah,
it just
I have
doesn't,
no idea
it doesn't,
who it is, but
I put it like, and he is a good color guy. Like I do like him, but he called a Super Bowl with Greg Olsen, and it's just like he's not Joe Buck and he's not Jim Nantz, so it's just hard to get into that echelon, which who knows? We'll see. But yeah, we'll see about Tom Brady. Baker Mayfield went into the Bucs game and he was awesome. He had 289, 4 touchdowns. Jaden Daniels, not like the craziest day, but out of the rookie quarterbacks that we saw, Bo, Caleb, Jaden Daniels, just by far the best in my opinion. We gave our rankings. We said Caleb was going to be the best out of the guys for this year. I flipped that so quick. First drive I saw, because you can just see it with Jaden Daniels. And that's not to say Caleb won't be better in 5 years, but right now, I mean, he looks like an NFL quarterback. He looks mature. He looks so comfortable back there. He's got to tighten his helmet a little bit more, right? So they had some things they needed to clean up on offense. They didn't keep up with the Bucs, who just rolled. And the Bucs, I think a lot of people slept on this year. They look just as much as a playoff team as Detroit did, as the Eagles did, as the Cowboys did. They imposed their will on that team, and it just looks like a group that's like really together, right? They're just kind of all on the same page. And one of my big winners of the week is Baker Mayfield, because he just fell into like the perfect situation there. And I'm just happy for him because the Browns kicked him to the side and they have Deshaun Watson now, and he's a good quarterback. He puts the ball in his guys' hands, which is really all you can ask out of your franchise guy. So, man, I'm in on the Bucs. That's a good team.
Yeah, I hate to admit, I like the Bucs too. I've always been a Baker guy. I liked him on Cleveland. He did some questionable things there before he left. Decision making, it seems like he's completely matured. I mean, that offense was absolutely flawless. And yeah,
Defense looks good.
I don't want to get too high on them because I do think Washington has one of the worst defenses in the league. Mm-hmm. But that being said, he made the right decision every time. Mike Evans is an ageless beast that's going to have another 1,000-yard season. And Rachaad White and Bucky Irving seem like a nice 1-2 combo.
Yeah.
Like you said, defense looked good. They didn't do anything crazy, but they did what they needed to do. Jaden Daniels looked comfortable, but couldn't put up points. And I like the Bucs. I think they win that division. I was low on the Falcons. I'm even lower on the Falcons.
People came out high for the Falcons, and like the reality is like that team that needs time to put it together, and the verdict's still out to see if they do, right? That wasn't promising what we saw on Sunday. But the Bucs, like that was a playoff team last year. They brought a lot of their main guys back, including Baker. Defense, that's a sturdy defense, right? Todd Bowles is a leader of men guy, right? They seem like a good team, and they're not as loaded as the Eagles and these top contenders, but they'll be there, and Baker Mayfield will have a say in that game because he's a good quarterback. So shout out the Bucs. That's all you get for this week, because we might be laying into our Bucs friends too much.
Yeah, I can't give him too much credit, especially after a Washington Redskins win. So yeah, good win. great win. Like he
Yeah.
was the favorite in the division.
Mhm.
You guys aren't elite enough, so fuck off. I don't want to hear
Fuck off.
it. Another super boring game, if you'd like
Mhm.
to get into it.
Or do you want to give
my
your winners and losers?
Yeah, so my first winner
Okay.
was Sam Darnold.
Yes.
And I don't want to go back to that game for too long, but without touching on the Giants at all, Sam Darnold looked legit.
Yeah.
And I think he's legit.
How legit?
I think he could be the starting quarterback of the Vikings for the next 4 to 5 years.
Whoa. Okay.
I think he could establish himself this year as a franchise quarterback once again. I think he was in a shithole situation in New York with the Jets. He was in a shithole situation with the Panthers. Now he's in a good situation on a team that throws the ball a lot. He'll definitely have a few questionable turnovers that'll lose them some games, and they're not great. But I think he has a chance to lead them to be 500 and possibly a playoff team.
Yeah, Kevin O'Connell's a great coach. We've seen that. I mean, we did also see Josh Dobbs come in with his first game with that offense and have a magical game, right? So let's wait 5 weeks on Sam Darnold. It was cool to see him go back to MetLife though, where he used to see ghosts and do that, right? That was cool to see. It was against the Giants, right? But yeah, shout out to Sam Darnold. Do you have any other winners, losers?
Second winner of the week, kind of lame. Another lame game, but it's something that we need to touch upon. And as much as I hate them as a franchise, the New England Patriots, someone who I shit on last week. I told them that they were on the same level as the Giants and they both had the chance to go winless. I thought they were going to be really, really bad, even worse than last year. They're not good. They didn't look good, but they were good enough to beat a really bad Bengals team. Gerard Mayo gets the win. Jacoby Brissett cries 3 times before the games. And, Gerard Mayo told him he was going to ball out. He certainly didn't ball out, but he led a team to a victory. And
that's important. Yeah.
Good for the
shout out to
Patriots.
Pats. Good for them, right? There's something to be said about a team that has nothing to lose, and that's what we saw with the Patriots. Jacoby Brissett didn't make any mistakes, and the Bengals just didn't have 20 yards, right? I think they had like 120-yard completion. Like, just not a lot there, but I also don't want to overreact because we've seen Joe Burrow do this for, the first 8 weeks even, and he'll make some magic happen at some point, I hope. But,
it'll take some time for sure.
Yeah, and the Bengals, like, you got to be a little bit better just front office wise. Like, the decisions they have made, and they've let go of a lot of players, and it's like, dude, you got to pay someone. Like, keep your guys in the building. Look what the Niners have done and the Eagles have done, like, with their guys, and then they're like, we'll draft and we'll figure out the rest, and they do a good job of it. And props to the Cowboys for just hanging on by a thread to being a winning team, because at some point it has to fall off cliff with how they sign players. It's hilarious how they did it. But yeah, the shout out to Pats. My loser already got to John Mara. Another winner I want to hit. And by the way, awesome game. The Texans beat the Colts 29-27 in Indianapolis. And Anthony Richardson had maybe the throw of the season, and that's not an exaggeration. That was a 65-yard ball on a rope on his back foot. It landed perfectly at Alec Pierce's hands, like I said, on an actual rope. It wasn't like a deep floater. It was with authority, and that was really cool to see. Him and Shane Steichen together. I mean, Anthony Richardson in a nutshell is like Jalen Hurts on steroids. And Jalen Hurts is already a freak athlete, but that's just what Anthony Richardson is. Like, we both know. And he was 9 for 19, and they put up 27 points. So I just love their offense, and I know Shane Steichen, and you saw this with the 2022 Eagles. Like, everything looked easy, and they were always going downhill, and that's what they're doing with AR. It's these long balls. It's the opposite of what we saw with Bo Nix week 1 with these, like, lateral sideways throws. It's like, dude, let's just go. We'll get some. We won't get some, but at the end of the day, we'll have a good 27, 30 points on the board. So those were my big winners, and you got to be happy if you're a Colts fan. Like, Texans are a damn good football team, and you almost won that game with CJ Stroud, by the way, with his best stuff. Like, he looked awesome. He was just pinpoint accuracy, gotten you up all over the field. Their weapons look great, but yeah, awesome game. Shout out the Colts.
Yeah, great game. I agree. I think both teams take something positive out of it.
Definitely.
Colts look awesome. They're going to be good. They're not going to be perfect, but like you said, that offense is going to figure itself out. As long as Anthony Richardson cannot throw his 1 to 2 really dumb interceptions per game, the rest of him is insane. He's probably the best athlete, arguably most talented quarterback in the league. And if he can put it all together, he is scary.
Yeah.
And he's in a position where he only has to throw the ball 20 times a game, and he's in contention to win.
Exactly.
So,
if he gets
like
a little
that.
bit of what Stroud has, like, man, you really do have something there. But that's the big question mark with him. It's like, how are you with 3 minutes left in the drive, down 6? You know,
Yeah. Stroud is a quarterback.
just
Anthony
a quarterback.
Anthony Richardson is a mobile freak athlete.
Yeah,
Jalen Hurts, Lamar Jackson quarterback. CJ Stroud is a quarterback.
he's awesome. He is so awesome.
Stephon Diggs looked good, and Joe Mixon looked good. All the guys they brought
It's
in.
a great team, man. It's a really great team.
Scary.
Like, are they the favorite in the AFC? I mean, the Chiefs and the Ravens both looked good. Dude, I mean, we've seen that CJ Stroud could have a lot of the same stuff as Patrick Mahomes. Like,
he's not there yet, though.
He can win games, man. I mean, do you want to? I think Texans take away Patrick Mahomes and CJ Stroud are a better team than the Chiefs.
Agreed.
Okay, I'm glad we're on the same page there. I mean, I think that's actually the best team in the AFC.
Agreed.
And, that team has a pretty damn good quarterback that shows he's pretty clutch, too. So it's hard for me not to look at the Texans and be like they're the favorite, but I did take the Chiefs because it's Patrick Mahomes. And
Are you sticking with the Chiefs then?
I am sticking with the Chiefs.
After 1 week?
No, I am sticking with the Chiefs. And that was a great first game of the season. Came down to the wire. It was awesome. So, and yeah, they looked like the Chiefs. Xavier Worthy, like, let's not get too high. He had a wide open touchdown catch and an easy jet sweep, right? Like, he'll be big in fantasy and over props and stuff, but he only had like 3 touches, but electric, right? Rashee Rice also looked good. So the Chiefs just looked like the Chiefs. And then the Ravens, they honestly, a lot like what I saw with the Eagles, like, had a lot of mistakes and bad points in the game, but they almost won the game, right? I mean, a lot of positives there. So those two will definitely be there at the end of the season. I don't have a ton from that game. It was just a great introduction to football.
It was a great game. It seemed like the Ravens were always behind. They couldn't get the offense completely rolling. And then I think there was a moment where Lamar Jackson was like, all right, like, I have to go win this football game. And he didn't do that, but he ran along the first half, but his runs were way more aggressive in the second half. He was scrambling around.
He looked great.
I mean, he put the team on his back, and he's going to have to continue to do that in tight games. I just hope he can figure that out in the first quarter instead of waiting till the second half to trust the rest of his guys. Maybe the guys step up and he doesn't have to, but in a playoff game, I'd love to see him just take over from the rip.
Yeah, and the Ravens are coming out of that game just like the Rams are after their loss on Sunday night, saying, yeah, we lost, but we're right there. Like, they're not coming out depressed, right? If anything, with the Ravens losing that game, like, I almost would rather that, right? You're right there. You're going to have more built-up juice next time. And there's something going on with just Roquan Smith on that defense. I think just him, dude, he's scary. Like, I feel like he's, like, really close to, like, kind of, like, breaking the Chiefs. Like, I feel like one more game between those two teams, and he's going to, like, blow something up on that offense, and we're going to be like, whoa. I just watch out for that, because he's getting close. He's good at getting under skin.
I'll make sure I have security ready on the sidelines if something blows up on the field.
Get Big Dom. Everyone needs a Big Dom. Big Dom, his return to the Eagles, and they win a game, I'm telling you. Yeah, it was Yeah, and then Rams Lions, I don't have a lot from that game too. Like both teams were gassed at the end, and Matthew Stafford had his best stuff. And listen, I was gonna come on this pod and really draw the comparison between Matthew Stafford's performance and Jalen Hurts' performance, because both made mistakes and both, could have cost them the game or potentially did cost them the game with a couple just mistakes here and there. But at the end of the day, they got their guys, Devontae Smith and Cooper Kupp, their ball at the end of the game to close out the game or go into overtime, right? So I like that comparison because both are good quarterbacks. They're just spotchy at times, especially from what I saw over the weekend. But yeah, the Lions imposed their will at the end of the game.
Yeah, that last drive was dominant. David Montgomery ran straight for, besides the jet sweep on the first play, 6 straight plays, and then the game was over. And it happened so fast.
So fast. And that was the formula of the Eagles teams when they were good, was like, hey, when we have you, we're going to impose our will, and there's nothing you can do about it. And that is a quality trait to have on a winning football team. Quality. That's how you close out games. That's how the Eagles did all of 2022.
Another team that did a similar thing, game concluded earlier today, was the San Francisco 49ers, and they did it without their Pro Bowl star, arguably best running back in the league, Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah, it didn't even matter. It didn't, like, they were rolling. It was just like the Cowboys, right? I was waiting for the Cowboys or Niners, and prayerfully both, to fall off a cliff per se and just kind of look visibly worse than last year, and they looked the exact same.
Yeah. Jordan Mason came in, and I would argue I probably could have rushed for 100 yards with the holes that he was getting. Debo looks scary. Brandon Ayuk looked bad, which I thought was funny because I don't think he deserved to be able to say he can hold out and all that. And so, you don't get your touchdown.
Yeah, and Brock Purdy's good. Brock Purdy's good.
I hate to admit Brock Purdy's good.
I'm fine.
I was watching the game, and
so
I texted you, and I said, if things were different and Brock Purdy had won his first 2 Super Bowls, the 2 games that he was in the Super Bowl, does he have comparisons to Tom Brady?
Yeah, he does. He absolutely does, because then you would be talking about them as the team to three-peat, right? Which Tom Brady almost did with the Patriots in his earlier years. And he just makes such good decisions. I just didn't really understand it at first, and I'm an Eagles fan, so I just want to be negative and say that guy's barbecue chicken trash. And listen, he still has questionable throws, just as Dak Prescott does, and just as they both did at points in this game. But for the majority, man, that's a great comparison. I mean, Dak and Brock, they really get the ball in tight windows to their best guys, and their offenses roll because of it.
I think Brock Purdy is the best game manager that is certainly right now, possibly ever. But when he has to make the game-winning throw in the Super Bowl, he can't do it. I think Dak Prescott is a slightly worse game manager, although still one of the best game managers of all time. Different type of quarterback. But I think his skills and abilities and talents and athleticism prepare him better for needing to lead a 2-minute drive where he has to take over, where Lamar has to take over and he can do it. Patrick Mahomes can take over and he can do it. Brock Purdy can't do it, and Dak Prescott might be able to do it. But if I had a 2-minute drive with one quarterback, Dak Prescott over Brock Purdy.
But Brock Purdy did do that twice in playoff games last year, and Dak hasn't done it in a playoff game yet. So I'm a little bit confused by that. Like, he had a close game with the Packers and a close game with the Lions, and he came through in both second halves. So no, I don't agree with that, actually.
I think he doesn't have to do as much, which is why he's a better game manager.
Well, I don't know if game manager is really the adjective for Brock Purdy. I think it is for Dak Prescott, but like, he's not like showing those really great game manager points where he makes like the second or third read in a very, 3rd and 8
Because
situation.
the first read is always open.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like he makes the good first throw. And he's
so
in like
a puppet. He's a Shanahan puppet.
Yeah, because like a game manager, like Dak is good on 3rd and 7 still, right? And it's like he's scary. And I mean, god damn it, I've seen Dak have like just the craziest 3rd down conversions, or not even crazy, just simple ones, right? But Brock Purdy's just always in these 2nd and 2s, and it's just annoying.
Purdy made some good 3rd down throws today.
Yeah, and by the way, the Jets, like, dude, this is a coaching problem because they scored on that 2nd drive because Aaron Rodgers made a lot of good 3rd down throws. And then the rest of the game, they just kept putting him in 3rd and 8s, which was the story of Zach Wilson. And they're just doing the same thing to Aaron Rodgers, and he's going to be a little bit more successful. But, like, dude, can you get, like, 2nd and 2s? It's just, I feel like the Jets are always in 3rd and long. It's so annoying.
Mm-hmm. They need your Eagles boy, Hassan Reddick, to play. And whatever that management team needs to do to give him however much money he wants to get him on the field for week 2.
Yeah.
If he's not playing, I mean...
It's a crazy situation.
That would be a disaster. I mean, I think tonight showed that their defense is pretty good, but not great, and couldn't get any pressure was the whole biggest issue.
Hassan Reddick's agent,
need him on the field.
I don't know who his agent is, but I'm pretty sure. So he got drafted by the Cardinals, and I think he was like traded to the Panthers. And then when he was up for his big, after rookie deal extension, I'm pretty sure he signed with the Eagles, and it was for 3 years, $15 million. No, he was getting $15 million each year, which is cheap DN money, especially for how he played this first year. So, like, he hasn't gotten a big payday yet. And so, like, him holding out is completely, like, reasonable. Like, that guy's got to get paid. But the timing of it all and, like, that extension with the Eagles, and, the Eagles they didn't want to give him that money because they got to pay other dudes. So they traded him. And now the Jets won't give him that money either. So, dude, whoever his agent is, like, figure it out because you've messed up this timing. I mean, I get why you're doing it, but it was all self-inflicted wounds there. And he does need to get back on the field. They need him.
I agree his agent's messing up, but at the same time, is this not on the Jets? If you're going to go trade for a guy that wants 100%. A new contract, then figure out a plan to give him 100%. A new contract.
Yeah, I don't get that.
They're clearly so far apart at this point, and it's like, figure it out. Get him on the field. You need him.
You do need. Yeah, we saw it tonight. You absolutely do need it. You traded Bryce Huff to the Eagles, so
I think his agent's on the phone with the Jets right now and is like, "Listen, you need to give us the money we're asking for because you need Hassan Reddick on the field."
Hassan Reddick's a fucking beast. Let's be very clear here, right? The Eagles dropped off at the end of last season. I mean, people forget, like, he was in a defensive player of the year contender 2 years ago. Like, he's damn good, and he gets after the passer, which is what they need. Brock Purdy was untouched tonight.
Yeah.
Cool. We'll just touch on rest of the games. Did you have any other winners or losers? I'll get to my last loser here in a sec.
My last loser, I don't really want to spend a lot of time on, but it needs to be brought up. The Carolina Panthers, they're bad. Yeah. They're really bad. Bryce Young didn't take a step forward.
It's really them and the Giants. Yeah, them and the Giants down here. Sorry to cut you off, but, like, it's because I was going to say, like, Giants just be above and beyond, like, the worst in the NFL, but, like, how can you not see the Panthers right there? Man, those two are just a clear bottom of the pack. And there's no debate. Like, CJ Stroud was absolutely better than Bryce Young. And that's what one more thing I was going to say about the Texans. Like, man, there really haven't been that many hits on rookie quarterbacks in the first round the past 6 years or whatever. That one was absolutely a hit. And that is huge. That's just huge. That changed everything for them. They're the best team in the AFC all of a sudden. They had the 2nd overall pick last year. It's just crazy what just hitting on a quarterback can do for your franchise. That's the beauty of the sport.
Yeah. I mean, the Panthers, like, we gave the Texans their credit. They're scary. Bryce Young is bad. I was a big dumb idiot and thought the Panthers would actually take a step forward this season.
Yeah, you bet on them. You and Jared both were heavy on
I bet on
the
money line and the spread, and I was smart enough to not double down after they shit the bed and basically lost the game in the first 7 minutes.
Yeah.
But
And I did want to, like, if I really wanted to, like, just not give you anything today, I wanted to come out on the pod and be like, oh, Dak Prescott had a good day. Well, what about the other number 4 that played for the Saints? Because he put up a smooth 48, and Derek Carr is the MVP frontrunner right now. And by the way, week 2, Saints at Cowboys, interesting game-ish now. I will probably try to convince myself that the Saints will cover and the Cowboys will roll, but yeah, no, Panthers, man, wow. Hey, I was just thinking, week 1, right, man, like that was beautiful, that was great, and it's just a really beautiful sport, like you think like the world says soccer is the best sport in the world, and I wanted to like just compare the two, and we're getting into like a really broad conversation now, but like just real quick, like
yeah,
really think about it, like it's 11v11, but with soccer, it's like you have your defense and your strikers and midfielders, but like they all look like the same type of character build, right? You don't have your 300-pound offensive lineman and then your extremely fast but chunky running back and then your freak of athlete receivers and then the superhero, the quarterback, right? And then you have your defenses, big guys, cornerbacks, right? So like football, soccer, both 11v11, both team sports, both have a lot of strategy, but just like the makeup of like the position groups with football, like no other sport really has that. And I think that honestly is one of the big differentiators with football, is like that just opens it up for so many like matchups and so much strategy for team building, and like this team is better here and this team's better here, and like when you look at soccer, it's like, yeah, Real Madrid's just better than Tottenham, right? So just shout out football. Why not football? It's just a great sport, and it's the best in the world for a reason.
yeah, I'll just say I don't disagree, but this is why Europeans hate Americans, because we say shit like this.
But like, do you get it? I mean, it's pretty reasonable. Yeah,
I get it, and I don't disagree. Football is the greatest sport in the world. There's nothing more than I love about the game, the culture, the build-up, the everything that works about football. I'll give soccer the credit of there's not a more passionate group of fans than the people that support a soccer team. And that is incredible. I would argue that the in-person atmosphere of a European soccer game is better than an NFL game. With that being said, just the way I was raised, the things I love, the tailgating, going to a game, the memories that I have, everything is just, football is perfect. It's beautiful. It's awesome.
And I agree with you there.
Yeah.
That's good. I agree that the fan bases probably give the notch to the NFL. I would argue, though, that college football still beats the European soccer, but actually it's a really good comparison to make, because like you think of the English Premier League, like a lot of those teams come out of like the smaller cities, like kind of outside of London or in England, which is the same thing as college football, right? It's these small fan bases and communities that come together in just the most energetic way that resonates more and is more personal than the big cities of the world, which has a totally different vibe to it. But I do actually like that comparison a lot.
Yeah, I like the college football and European soccer comparison.
SEC mostly.
Yeah, well, that's what I was going to say. Those smaller teams in England, or the people who are in the lower divisions of soccer, comparatively like Division III college football, like you're not selling out and getting a rocking football game for Division III college football, but the third division soccer team in England is selling out their 10 to 15,000 person stadium where everyone is on their feet singing and chanting the entire 90 minutes.
Same thing with like Montana football or like North Dakota State. Like those guys fill their stadiums. That's their biggest event. It's the same thing as like my dad for some reason is a huge Sheffield Wednesday fan, and they're like third league in the English soccer, maybe even like fourth or fifth. But man, they have a rocking fan base. You see it with like the show that Ryan Reynolds and and the team they bought in Scotland.
Yep,
Wrexham, yeah. So, yeah, cool stuff there. Let me just run by real quick the rest of the games here, Mike. Bills Cardinals, great game. 34 Bills, Cardinals 28. I don't have a lot from the game. I will say, like, Marvin Harrison Jr. looks so clean in that Cardinals uniform. Like, he just looks like he's the best wide receiver in the NFL. And he had one catch for like 4 yards. So figure that out, because he looks way too good to only get the ball one time.
Yeah, he was wide open at the end of the game, and Kyler Murray didn't throw the ball to him, but he looked great. I mean, if there was an award for, like, person most prepared to run a marathon, he certainly got his cardio in.
Yeah.
They just didn't throw him the ball, but that's going to happen. I'm not worried.
Yeah, and the Bills, you know, like, they look good. They have Josh Allen, and they're well coached. I just do think their window was up, man, because you had to, they had the talent. They had to get rid of a lot of their talent, and now they're kind of at a reset. And Josh Allen's probably still getting better, right? But now you got to kind of have to wait for the talent to come back, or you're going to have to be superhero Josh. And that's why you look at a team like the Texans that knows that their window's now, and it really feels like they're getting it right. And we'll still see if, like, they do get it right. But the Bills did have a lot of mistakes as far as building out the roster, and they had a ton of injuries and stuff, but tough coaching habits. And yeah, I just feel bad because I think their windows.
I think they might be able to reload for next year and sign some people. They'll have a good draft pick.
But
I mean, they'll battle for 500. Right. This year, they'll battle for 500. Josh Allen did look like a superstar and a superhero, and he did take over. He had 2 tough touchdown runs.
Yes.
They're going to score points no matter what. The rest of the team isn't that great. They're going to have some bad weeks on offense. It's not their year. I'm just questioning, with the amount that you've talked about them, are you a Texans fan now? Or are you still an Eagles fan?
Okay, relax. Everyone's talking about the Texans. That's just
You're
a good
talking
team.
about them a lot.
Man, I like good football. I like how he makes just such good decisions, but can still sling it. I mean, Joe Mixon looked awesome. He looked like 24-year-old Joe Mixon. So
just weird that they only won by 2. But I agree, they looked amazing.
It is so weird. It is so weird.
And that doesn't make sense.
But we gave the Colts their credit because, I mean, I loved that game. That game was awesome. I was worried too. I was like, oh my God, Anthony Richardson, he's just going to have that one throw and then they're going to have a goose egg. But then they turned it on. I mean, Shane Steichen, he's so awesome. Bears 24, Titans 17. The Bears did not score an offensive point. They had the 2-point conversion at the end. Caleb Williams was all over the place. We'll see, but not good start.
No, he's definitely got to switch up the nails for the next game. That clearly was bad vibes.
Bad vibes. Isn't it funny how a loss can make just the nails be the worst thing ever?
And if he won, they would have been the greatest thing ever.
Yeah. Duh, Bears.
Look at this guy that just beat you with painted nails. You're the worst. I mean, that did happen, but he certainly didn't beat you.
Yeah, Will Levis, dude, you gave that game to a man that painted his nails. He didn't even beat you. You just handed it to him. Like, literally, you threw the ball on a fucking platter to the defender at the end of the game. Like, Will Levis, dude, bad vibes. Come on, man.
I want to root for him. But,
Titans are a weird team, man. They kind of like went for it. They signed a lot of guys. They have Calvin and DeAndre Hopkins. They signed like L'Jarius Sneed on the defense, but I mean, I don't know. Maybe they saw something in Will Levis, I guess. And, you know, he had good moments, but he lost in that game. Like, he just did.
Yeah, I think they missed on quarterback, and they're going to have to figure that out throughout the season. I like Vrabel, so hopefully he's able to win a few gritty games and keep his job. But this isn't their year. They're going to be bad.
Vrabel is not the coach anymore.
Damn, rip Vrabel.
Yeah,
you're
right. God damn it. Now we're exposed again as dumbasses. Oh, well.
All right, well, we'll just cut that part out.
Well, we'll see. Dolphins at Jags. Dolphins 20, Jags 17. Another good game that I just don't have a lot from. Everyone talked about what happened to Tyreek getting arrested. Scotty Scheffler vibes. Still scored a long touchdown. Did you see the cam footage? The cop cam footage?
Yeah.
bad.
Not good.
Not good. Let's figure that out. Miami-Dade police. Like, what that guy drink for breakfast? Like, what was in that guy's coffee? That was ridiculous. It had to have been like, I guess 1 p.m. game start, like 9 a.m. Like just
It was like
juiced
9
up
or
on
10
a
o'clock.
Sunday, ready for violence. It's like the guy told him it was Tyreek Hill too, and he like got more pissed.
Yeah, is there any chance that guy like doesn't know who Tyreek Hill is?
Well, you could hear the guy in the video. He's like, "Oh my god, it's Tyreek Hill." I don't know if the guy didn't register it, but like, and then Calais Campbell getting out of the car, and he's like, "All right, now you're my next bitch. Give me your ID." It's like, dude, that guy would. Like, it's just the same thing as like when you're on Twitter and like saying like you fucking suck to a guy that's like 6'8", 300 in the NFL. It's the same thing as like when you're a cop and like give me your ID. It's like, dude, that guy would just murder you. Can we respect that a little bit?
Right. Let's understand the situation here and let's cut our losses where they're at.
Yeah, literally. By the way, we never even mentioned it, and we'll introduce this to the pod. Mike and I, so we gave our bets in last pod. I went 8-5 on my picks. Mike went 6-6 on his picks. However, we both did hit our big bets of the week, which Mike, we are going to say count as 3 wins for our record, in which we will go against each other. Whoever has the best percentage at the end of the season wins, and we'll think of a punishment. We haven't really thought of it yet, but let's get something there.
Yeah,
so
we'll
I'm
do something stupid.
I'm in the lead. No surprise there. Winner, athlete, top 5. Why not me?
Fuck you.
Dude, first 20 minutes, man, that was what we needed. We needed a little like, because that's what we are. We don't like each other when it comes to Cowboys Eagles, and
Not friends.
I was not happy when you were just way too excited about the Cowboys. Like, just chill a little bit. They beat Deshaun Watson, and give the Eagles some credit. But proof in the pudding, it'll come. It'll come. It would be so awesome if the Eagles went 2-0 against Cowboys this year. But Dak will probably give us problems. We'll see.
You are afraid of the Cowboys.
They'll split like they do every year.
So you're conceding at least one game.
At least I can come out and admit that if Jalen Hurts was on the Eagles offense, tomorrow he would produce better and give the ball to AJ and Devontae more because of what I saw from Jalen. I came out and I'm a good man. I mean, I think the viewers will respect me more as the non-biased football guy versus you.
My football team is just better.
It's not, actually. That was apparent. The Eagles are the better football team. They just made more mistakes. They beat a better team. We already hit it.
Yeah, get over it.
Sorry. This is what we do, though. We always come back to Cowboys Eagles. But Chargers, Raiders. Chargers 22, Raiders 10. This was one of the ones that I beat you on. Yeah, just looked comfortable. Jim Harbaugh, he's done the right things. Joe Alt looked awesome. He shut down Max Crosby. Slam dunk pick. Jim Harbaugh style football. Justin Herbert, not a crazy flashy game, but he didn't throw a pick. He made good decisions, which is what Justin Herbert is, and a lot to build off with that Chargers team. My fantasy teams are bad, but I'm glad I took JK in a lot of leagues because one of those guys in the backfield was bound to get a nice, dark, heavy workload.
Yeah, the Chargers are going to run the ball. That's what Harbaugh wants to do. That's what he's going to do. They're not going to be able to do that some games, but they're going to be able to do it against the worser opponents. Antonio Pierce made a bunch of super questionable coaching decisions. Love the guy. He seems to fire up that locker room, but they seem like kind of a dumpster fire, and it's only a matter of time before they just have to blow that thing up. Yeah. Love to root for Gardner Minshew and Devontae Adams and whoever, but they're bad. Chargers are mediocre.
Raiders will have, 2 or 3 surprising wins. They're not a playoff team, though. I do like their D-line, though. Max Crosby and not Phillips. The guy they got from the Dolphins, their D-tackle. I'm like, are you blanking, too?
Mm-hmm.
Brains are fried. Too much football. But I do like that combo. They looked good together. Okay, last game. Steelers won in Atlanta 18-10. The Eagles' next game is against the Falcons on Monday Night Football, week 2. Third year in a row, we got Kirk Cousins at home on Monday Night Football. I'll take it, I guess. Because, yeah, Falcons, we mentioned how we like the Bucs now because they're a sturdier team. They could improve. Kyle Pitts did get the ball more. Bijan looked better, and that Steelers defense is very, very good. Steelers, man, what a Steelers win. 6 field goals. I mean, offense didn't look special at all, but they win football games. And we took the under. We nailed this one.
TJ Watt looked insane.
So his week ones in past years, I mean, he has like 2 sacks at least every week one, it feels like.
He had the sack, strip, and recovery all in one play at one point. He was awesome. The defense is what the defense always is for the Steelers. Mike Tomlin's going to lead another 500 team to either make the playoffs or be one game short. And
the best.
It's incredible.
He's by far the best coach on the mic. He came out after the week and one of the reporters asked him, he's like, after Justin Fields' performance, given Russ's availability, do you have comments on week 2 start? He's like, ask me on Tuesday. He's just straight to it. There's no bluffing. Love Mike Tomlin. Classic Mike Tomlin win. He's dude, that guy hasn't won a playoff game in forever. So that's not going to change this year. But yeah, they're the Steelers. They just are. And we nailed that pick. And yeah, the Falcons. I mean, I'm pretty sure they go Philly and then KC. So they can very easily start off 0-3, which is bad news. Penix
and Kirk
talk.
Yeah, Kirk Cousins kind of looks like Kirk Cousins.
He's people forget, he's Kirk Cousins. I feel like whether he's on the team and like the Vikings and he's gonna give you good stats, but it's Kirk Cousins. He has bad throws. He's not a winner. No. Has he won a playoff game ever? Yep.
I don't know, but he doesn't win primetime games, so you guys might actually whoop their ass next week.
Yeah, I mean, how do the Falcons win? We'll see, but
the Stephon Diggs miracle, that was a playoff game, I believe, right?
No, but that was Case Keenum. That was the year
really?
Yeah, that was the year the Eagles beat him in the NFC Championship game. Yeah.
Is that the year with the meme of Blake Bortles, Case Keenum, and Nick Foles all being in the championships?
And that's why I brought up Mike Tomlin, because they lost that game to the Jaguars that year. It was I remember the score. It was 45-42. It was this crazy shootout with Blake Bortles, and Steelers should have won that game.
And Ben Roethlisberger as well.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, that was I think that was. I mean, they might have snuck in one year, but last real Steelers team, right? Antonio Brown. Yeah. Blake Bortles, man. Former legend. Nice throwback. Okay, my last loser of the week. There's a reason I waited, because it's college football related. My loser of the week is Jesus, because the Notre Dame Fighting Irish lost to Northern Illinois, a MAC team, and the MAC is good this year. They lost 16-14 at home, and Jesus loves to lose these week 2 games to teams they should beat by a lot. And man, I got to come off last week and be proud of Notre Dame, and here I am, because this is every Notre Dame year, and it's really sad, because that was very, very bad. Very bad.
Yeah, it always happens at some point. It feels
it
like
does.
Didn't think it was gonna happen this early.
No. I really thought last week was a good stepping stone. A&M might just be bad. But yeah, no. Notre Dame, no offense. I mean, Northern Illinois, best win in program history.
Yeah. You see the coach afterwards, though?
What do you do? Oh,
he was just bawling his eyes out. He was so happy. I mean, he was like, I told my guys, they just got to do what they're supposed to do. They don't got to do anything special. Everyone just played their part, and we worked hard. we prepared for this game, and I believed, and they believed, and it was emotional. It was cool. Guy seems like a great guy. I think they need to get him on the phone right now to hire as the head coach of the Florida Gators. Because I want that guy on my football team.
Yeah.
I don't know what his background is or if he's qualified, but I like him, and he needs the head coaching job over Billy Napier.
Dude, just don't schedule the MAC Notre Dame, because like they're a Midwest teams that like, and I forget who brought up this point, but like the guys that are getting recruited to like Notre Dame and Michigan and Ohio State, they got those bids over these guys that go to these MAC schools in the same area, and they come in with just a lot of juice. And yeah, just dude, schedule Samford, right? Don't do these frisky MAC teams, which the MAC is good. They had some like good games this week. So yeah, Notre Dame bad. Texas rolls, and we called that one. That one was easy. And yeah, like Colin Cowherd, he's got to be a little bit more direct, because he was like on TV today and he was like, Texas, like, yeah, this win proved me they're a top 5 team in football. Yeah, like no shit, Colin. What 5 teams could possibly be better than Texas, right? They have probably the best quarterback in the country, and the difference between Georgia and Texas right now is they're NFL football teams. Like their big guys are big guys. They win in the trenches, and they have 2 pro style quarterbacks and very good coaches. Those teams, and I think I separate them from Ohio State because of the big guys right now, are ahead of the rest.
Yeah, Texas and Georgia, we called it from the start. I love Texas. I hate easy. Georgia. It seemed easy. I'm sure some things will change between now and the end of the season. I'm still very high on Ole Miss, who looked awesome again.
Ole Miss did look
still
good.
Didn't play any competition, but
that brings up a good point though, because like I look at teams, and I really noticed this during the Colorado game. Like Texas and Georgia, like they don't win 76-0 like Ole Miss does, and have these like massive offensive plays and like, you know, electric plays, because they really do run a pro style offense, like we saw with Detroit this weekend, where they just run it down your throats, right? Like the way they choose to win football games really, you know, points out who the actual good teams are, right? It's not the ones that go up by massive scores and have these electric games, because then they will also have the game where they are stagnant on offense and can't really win in other ways. And Texas and Georgia can win in any type of style football game across the board. And those are the big differences between good football teams.
I like that. That was a mature take, and I think you nailed it.
I'm glad I brought that one up, because, yeah, those two are just, woof. Those are 2 damn good football teams.
They are.
Yeah. And that's the funny thing about this 12-team playoff, is because, like, when it was the 4-team, everyone was calling for it, and last year was like the perfect example of why it should grow. And like this year, it just feels like even 2 teams that just feel above the rest, right? Not to mention 12, right?
I think that's always how it's going to be, though. I think some years you'll get 4 or 5 teams at most, but the teams 9 through 12 are never really going to have a chance. Maybe you get one random upset, but those top teams are a level above.
Yeah, I hope like the smaller teams or the surprise teams that do get into the playoffs in this format like really take pride in that, because like they're not winning 4 football games, especially when you have to go up with teams against like Georgia and Texas. Like it's just not going to. That's just the reality of college football.
One team that might not win 4 football games all season, but we can relish in at least one victory, is the Florida Gators.
What a win. Big time. Good football. No. Samford. I mean, yeah, I didn't even watch the game. I was at a bar. I'm sorry to admit that, but I didn't get to catch DJ Lagway on TV. I wish I had. You got to watch the game. How was it?
Yeah, I was at a bar as well. Pretty drunk. Don't remember much of the fourth quarter, where I don't even think he played that much. But he looked awesome. He looked comfortable. He ran a great offense. He had some explosive plays. He's a rookie. He's a freshman who still needs to tweak a little bit of his accuracy, but like The guy was electric. He's athletic. He's awesome. He's better than Mertz. I'm a big Mertz guy, but Lagway's better. Like, Mertz should have transferred or needs to transfer or needs to take a step back and just be the old guy veteran.
Yeah.
DJ Lagway is awesome. Now he's going to go right back to the bench, but
get him in there, man. Just get him in there. Manziel started as a true freshman, and that team wasn't that good. Like, let him show off.
It was a different feel.
Dude, absolutely. Even compared to Richardson, like, I do get a different vibe between Lagway and Richardson. And Richardson didn't start as a true freshman. A lot of the same, like, raw characteristics, but Lagway, there really is something there, like, big time.
He's special, and we have nothing to lose for this season. We're not going to make the playoff. We have the hardest schedule. We're probably not, like, we'd be lucky to finish 500. Let this guy play. Let him get comfortable with the offense. Let him gel with our superstars, and let him make mistakes. Let him learn how to play in SEC environments and handle the pressure. He played in Texas where he would only play the first half because he would beat everybody by 100, and there was no pressure. Let him get into those uncomfortable situations and learn and grow.
Yes.
And we can be a really good football team next year if he doesn't transfer.
That's why Bo Nix was so good at the end of his career. Like, there's something about experience in starting these games. I totally agree. Billy Napier won't do it, though, and we know that.
He won't. So, that dreams.
Now, yeah, I don't have much else. It was fun. Football is totally back. Reason I did the podcast from my couch is because I had to show respect to the couch. It put in a great performance this weekend. And it was nice to, like, go to Saturday drinking again with college football, because the weekend before I, like, was so excited to have football. I just wanted to, like, sit on my couch again. But now it was like the routine of, like you said, Friday night, go out, Saturday day drink. I went to the Iowa State watch bar for the Iowa game, and Iowa State actually won that game, and I didn't tell anyone on Iowa. And my parlay died, so I got to root for Iowa State either way, and they should have won that game. I don't know if you watched. It was like 17-0, and then they won 20 to like 19 or something like that. On a last second field goal. Iowa, man, like, bad vibes. There were Iowa fans there, like, dude, those I was thinking about it, like, can you imagine being an Iowa football fan? It would suck. They don't, like, you're rooting for the same win each time. Like, there's nothing exciting about it. All it took was 3 good Iowa State drives for them to win that football game. That's it.
Yeah, I think if you're an Iowa football fan, you just have to truly embrace the defense and the under and the punting and the ugly, ugly football that you're going to get.
That's all they got. Like, it's just Iowa. Like, there's nothing else in Iowa. So, like, there's guys that, like, Iowa football is everything to them. I know some of those people, having friends from Iowa randomly enough, and tough life, very tough life, because they're never going to be like a top 5 team. They're just this team that will have, their peak is 10-2 seasons with really good defense and winning footballs in sluggish ways, and their floor is the same thing, just with a worse record.
Yeah, not a team that I wish to ever be a fan of.
No, and we're fans of good NFL teams, Mike. We're both 1-0 going into week 2, and we're both excited, and that is good things for the podcast, because at least one of us will be let down, most likely both of us, but no, because why not us?
Why not us? I'll say I have a big week ahead of me. I'm going on the road again to University of Virginia.
Oh, no.
And
why?
I know. I did such a good job last time that I have to go back.
They're like, this guy bet against us. Let's get him back. It's good vibes.
Yeah, they're playing Maryland, if anyone's interested in a poor football game.
Wow.
I won't touch it. I refuse to. But I realized something about me as a gambler.
Yeah.
I'm much better when I can dial in and focus, and I have a routine, and I'm watching the game, and I'm on the couch. I guess you could say I play better at home, to use a metaphor. And week 1 of college football, I was on the road. in a hostile environment, and I did not perform well. And
Okay.
college football is not my strength, but I struggled, and I bounced back in a favorable matchup at home where I was able to really dial in. I had a good game plan throughout the week. Coach was prepared. There was no wind, and I dominated. And this is going to be another tough week for me where I need to persevere through the away struggles
Yeah.
and prove that I can win games on the road. And so this is a big gambling week for me. I feel confident, but we'll see on Thursday what I cook up because I am not good on the road.
Yeah, two winning weeks in a row would be pretty big for the brand. And as you know, we'll get all to those picks on Thursday. NFL, I was looking at week 2 today. I'm already very excited. Some good games in there. And that's a pod. Great week 1. Great debates. We got a great season ahead. Please support the pod. Sound off in the comments on IG, and we'll always be better about posting reels and stuff. But, we just want to get the routine down, get the conversations and the banter and the criticism helps a lot from you guys. So thank you for the support.
Yeah. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, shout out everyone is our shout out of the week. And shout out football. Shout out Scott Hansen. You know what? Actually, I'll give a shout out. Shout out Chris Collinsworth. I loved it. He was awesome. He was way too much as always, but I needed it. I needed the Chris Collinsworth. Matthew Stafford, best throw of the. I mean, look at this guy. That's what it was perfect. And Tirico also was great. It feels like those two, like it feels up to the level of the peak Al Michaels and Chris Collinsworth Sunday Night Football now. I think I loved what I just heard out of those two.
Yeah, if you're listening, Chris Collinsworth, Michael Jaworski has a crush on you.
I have a crush on commentators. I texted Mike before the game. I said, can I lead the podcast with how much I love Joe Buck? Because it was just so good to see him back on Monday Night Football. By the way, Jason Kelsey was part of like the pregame stuff, which was cool.
Yeah, I didn't like it.
No, I loved it. He apparently forgot his luggage and had to go buy his shirt at Walmart. And I think the first sentence on air, he used the word tits, which is perfect.
Now
great.
that he's retired, I don't mind being a fan of Jason Kelsey. He's a fun guy.
He'll be back week 7 when Cam Jurgens has another bad snap. All right, guys. Well, thank you for listening. Mike, why not us?
Why not us?
Peace.